So, but the fact that this Dashcon 2 is actually relatively well organized for all things considered, and just seeing all the people walking around and seeing like how everyone talking to each other and conversing with each other and see so many smiles and cosplays, I feel like this is definitely the Dashcon that the original tried to achieve. And honestly, I do want to see them do this kind of thing again next year.
Guess what? It's next year! Welcome to another vlog about Dashcon 2, a whole year later from the very first rebirth of the event of the same name that has blessed or cursed, depending on how you want to look at it, the internet from 2014. Dashcon 2 is run by completely different organizers, and based on how last year went, clearly these organizers know what they're doing. But was it just a one-hit wonder? Could this second run of the event live up to the hype of last year? Do we have an actual new long-running annual event on our hands? Let's find out! Like last year, if you're new here, hello! I'm carefreejules, an artist based in Toronto who has been tabling for about 5 years now. I do a lot of art stuff, sometimes I do this vlogging stuff, but this isn't a biography, so let's get on to why I clicked on this video in the first place. The format of this video is more or less the same as last year, but there's going to be a whole new section where I interviewed 13 different artists and one of the organizers. I wanted to hear and share the experiences of my fellow peers, as well as how such an event came to be in the first place. So, I hope you look forward to hearing what other artists had to say about Dashcon 2. If you want to skip straight to the interviews, you can do so by jumping to this timecode on screen. Without further ado, let's begin with setup and my initial thoughts going into the second year of this event. Disclaimer, the first few clips are recorded in the wrong orientation because I'm a professional, ladies and gentlemen, everyone else in between, so sorry about that. Hello from Dashcon 2. I'm doing this all out of order because I came in here very early because I wanted to get as much setup time as possible because we only had like 75 minutes. So I came a little early, doors were already open, so got in and set up. So this is a little out of order, but we're back at Dashcon 2. It's very surreal because last year was obviously a very good experience. I pretty much spoke very highly of this event, so I have a little bit of higher expectations for this event as well. So hopefully it's just as good as last year. Also, bonus points being guessed from cosplayed ads, and if you see tape on my horns, no you don't. It's not like these horns broke off literally on my way here. Win a big convention for at least one thing and go wrong, huh? We're about 2 hours in, it's actually going pretty well, so I'm not too scared that things aren't gonna continue to progress in that way. But there is always that thing of momentum builds. The momentum is always the highest at the start, and then it slowly starts to kind of dip later on. That was what I was worried about last year, but I don't know, it seems pretty steady for now, so let's just hope that it keeps going in this direction. I'm also glad that the stamp rally I hosted is doing pretty well. It's my first time running a paid stamp rally. It's one for Deltarune. I hosted the Dark World version. There's another Deltarune stamp rally that's for the Light World. And the grand prize for our stamp rally is this really cool collaborative standee. It's multi-insert, so obviously different characters. It kind of looks like they're all attacking the soul, so I think it turned out pretty well. I also made a sticker for Sham, so that's also something they get as well, as a little bonus as well. So I'm really glad so far 5 prizes has been claimed. We only do 15 for today and then 10 for tomorrow just because paid stamp rallies, as you can imagine, prizes are a little bit more expensive, so we can't really splash out on handing out too many prizes. Okay, so I came back from lunch and something really funny happened as we were getting our food. Since we were ordering from Uber Eats, since we weren't sure if we wanted to eat whatever was catered to at the event, so we decided to just Uber something just for convenience sake. Something really funny happened where, as I was the one place to order, so I was the one approaching the car to get the food, and because I'm dressed as Des, if you couldn't tell or guess, someone apparently behind me was just like, "Des, no, don't go in front of the car," because of the meme and the theory that she got hit by a car, and it just My friend told me that. It just made me laugh so hard. But yeah, we finished lunchtime. The doors have opened to vendors again, so we're just gonna wait till the doors open for the rest of the attendees. But so far, it's been pretty comparable to last year. I'm actually very, very happy for that. Just because obviously you don't want a really good event just to be a one-hit wonder, just to be like a firework. You always want there to be consistency, and I feel like that's been very present in this event so far. So I'm very proud of that. I don't know how well it's gonna go now that it's like almost we're approaching the evening half of the day, but I'm trying to think if there's any notable bestsellers. I think my current most bestseller currently probably my iSat standee, which I'm gonna have a photo up right there. That one's been pretty popular. I didn't bring too many because I want to save some of them for Animathon. I think my stands in general have been doing pretty good. It's funny because like I write down all of my stock and stuff and like what, so I can keep track of like inventory. And one page is like pretty much completely blank in comparison to other pages that have a lot of more ticks in terms of sales. So I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, everything else in terms of like more mainstream fandoms like Pokemon haven't been doing well, which is not surprising. I kind of saw it coming because we're at a Tumblr con people are going to be wanting stuff that's a little bit more niche, a little bit more low key. There's a bit of a lull now after lunch. It's been like maybe an hour since AA opened back up for attendees and everyone else. So I'm just gonna quickly go over some things I already got, because usually when it comes to artist style, admittedly I'm a little bit picky when it comes to the things that I want, just because I don't have a lot of room for a lot of stuff anymore. So it's really hard to find a place for things to buy and things that even if there's like fandoms and stuff that I really like, it's really hard to find a space for everything. So but recently I got into the Amazing Digital Circus like a few weeks ago. I really wanted to get into it a few weeks after the finale aired, just because I know how intense the fandom can be. So I wanted to get into it without the influence of the fandom. And I think that really helped a lot because I really enjoyed it. It didn't really affect my enjoyment of the show. So I'm just going to quickly go over some things I got that are the Amazing Digital Circus related. I'm recording this after the fact because the footage I took of this was so shaky for some reason. So here's my Dashcon 2 haul with credits and all. I also want to add that unlike last year where I recognized Amanda from Swell Entertainment too late and didn't get a chance to give her something, since I enjoy giving little freebies to creators I admire, I did meet Coley Does Things. She visited Artist Alley on the first day after wrapping up a Voltron panel she was in. We made some small talk, and she even bought a tennis keychain for me, so if you somehow stumble upon this video, Coley, thank you so much! Let's move on to the artist interviews. Here is a list of all the wonderful artists who volunteered to be part of this video, and I hope any aspiring artist can take away something valuable from all of these different perspectives and insights. Thank you so much for agreeing to be part of my Dashcon 2 vlog. First of all, would you like to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your art?
Sure. Hi, my artist name is cityyliights. I'm at table 50 if you were here. I like to draw a bunch of different cartoon stuff. I got a bunch of Among Us stickers. I have some Vocaloid, warrior cats, kind of just whatever comes to my fancy. I'm channeling my inner 2016, 2020 Tumblr kid who never left and is still... There's a reason I'm at Dashcon. They want to be out here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Aranda. I go by OddChips online. Most of my work are prints and stickers, but I dabble in some additional pieces of merch like these acrylic charms. I tried out a new lanyard this year. It was going to synergize with the cards, but I never got around to making a little horror holder for them. But I'm willing to try to do newer things like bags and things like that. I just didn't have the time this year. But yeah, mostly paper goods.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Sharkmoth, otherwise known as the artist Alice. I've been doing art for, oh my god, my whole life. I finished at OCAD University in 2024. And yeah, I have a fun, lovely illustrative style that I love to show every day.
Sure. I'm AmnesiaNina, so I go by Nina, and this is my booth I share with my partner Eggify. This is our first Dashcon, so that's fun, and we like to do a bunch of niche kind of fandoms and meme culture stuff. But lately we've been really into Project Hail Mary, so we've made lots of things for that.
Yes, so I'm Bluenette the Clown. I'm a fan artist. I like to do art of video games mostly, and some comics, movies, books, whatever strikes my fancy.
Yeah, of course. Hi, I am Mince. I usually go like by Mince with a 1 on Tumblr, but everywhere else it's just kind of various. All I do is basically a bunch of like Britcom stuff and Doctor Who and sci-fi stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I am Morningstar, aka, well, no, I'm aka Morningstar. I'm Ray, but I do mostly print and small sticker stationery work. I make a lot of pins. I press my own pins at home, and my art is mostly inspired by vintage and retro like marketing materials, especially like my Pokemon milk cap series. They're inspired by vintage milk caps.
So my name is KiwiEarl. I'm an illustrator and comic artist. I've been doing tabling for around like 2 years, and I don't know. I have my own comic. That's it.
Hi, I'm Suexine. I am an artist based in like the Durham region of Ontario. I am a big Yuri fan. I love drawing Yuri, and I love Apothecary Diaries and Mistyjaeart specifically. I take a lot of inspiration from Shudo Hama, the manga for Atelier. Artist is so beautiful.
Yes, of course. My name is Loch. I run Lochstep, and I just make virtually my favorite things like Homestuck and Deltarune and like little RPG maker indie games. So yeah, that's my booth.
I'm Davolish. I am a horror macabre illustrator. I love to do all things spooky and sinister. I do a little bit of fan art, a little bit of original, like to keep it a little bit of both. So
Yeah, sure. I'm Mistyjaeart, and I do a lot of like fantasy, Minecraft, that kind of stuff.
Hi, I'm rendrkii. I'm a GTA-based illustration student and artist alley person.
What's your experience with tabling, and have you tabled at Dashcon 2 before?
I have tabled at Dashcon before. I was here for the first year as well, and my first year tabling ever actually was at Dashcon last year. I am so thankful that they took a chance on me. It has been a wonderful experience. I've like met so many awesome artists. I've learned so much about tabling and about like how I can improve my products and my craft. I've had people come up to me this year and be like, "Oh, I bought your thing last year. I still like use it all the time."
It's actually my only tabling experience. Last year was the first time I ever tabled with a different friend who did a couple of artist alleys before. So all very new, overwhelming experience. They're not here this year, so I was kind of figuring it out what to do with like my helpers and figuring out how to delegate tasks and things like that. If I were to give a word to the experience, overwhelming, but a second word would be fulfilling, I think, personally.
So I have never tabled at Dashcon before. It's my first time. I was in attendee last year, so I got the vibe. I've been tabling for a couple of years now. Since 2023 was my first time ever tabling, and I took a big hiatus for about a year in 2025, and now I'm kicking it back.
Yeah, so this is my first time at Dashcon, but I've been tabling for about, I want to say close to 4 years. I started with local art markets, like craft fairs kind of thing, like outdoor, just we're hanging out and there's like crochet and prints and whatever. After about a year and a half or something like that, my first convention was London Comic Con, and ever since, cons have been my favorite. I love it. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. It's great.
So this is my very first time tabling ever. So it's been very exciting. It has been incredible. I've met so many people who do amazing art. I'm going to spend all of my money the moment I get time.
So this is my second time actually tabling. My first tabling experience was Dashcon last year. I was like able to go through somehow, I don't know how. So far, the experience with tabling has been very great. I got to meet like a bunch of people who also somehow shares the same interest as me, which is very rare in this day and age. So I'm kind of happy about that, especially where we live. A lot of my stuff are from the UK, and I'm just really happy I get to have at least talk to some people about them here as well.
I have not, but so far it's been super positive. A lot of the people here are very, very connected, with Tumblr and a lot of our sort of early social media memories. And it's been great talking with everyone. And it's also been great just seeing like, you know, people pointing out at your art and being like, wow, I love this so-and-so fandom, or I love this and this. And some of the stuff I have is a little bit more less popular, at least with the sort of mainstream fandom crowd. So it's been neat to sort of see people point and go like, hey, I really like that, and sort of bond with people that way.
My experience with tabling is, it's pretty good. I've tabled at markets here and there. This is my first time ever at Dashcon as a vendor. I'm actually really excited because I really like the atmosphere of Dashcon and kind of like being able to let live and like be free.
I've been tabling since 2023. My very first con was Anime North. This is actually my second Dashcon.
I've been tabling for about 3 years now, between Toronto conventions and Windsor conventions. I'm actually from Windsor, so hello to all my Windsor buddies. It is my first time tabling at Dashcon too, so I was unfortunately unable to come last year, but I'm super happy to be here.
I have tabled at Dashcon last year, and that was actually my first time tabling. And this is, I guess, my second time tabling.
I've only been tabling for like, I want to say 8 months now. Like, I only started in like January. And I think like, I haven't tabled at Dashcon before. This is like my first Dashcon ever, but I'm having a good time.
Is there anything in particular that stands out at Dashcon 2 in comparison to other events you've tabled at?
Ooh, yes. It's the community, if nothing else. I have been to a couple, like, more local to Toronto general night markets and stuff. It's very kind of open to everyone and anyone, right? And there's a beauty in that, but there's something about Dashcon and that, like, if you're here, you are one of the freaks. You're one of the weirdos. You are not normal TM. And when you see a Clance magnetic charm, you know what's up. Like, there's just something about the vibes. I think everyone is so happy to be in the same space as their fellow freaks and weirdos.
Honestly, similar to last year, everybody's been so enthusiastic. Like, even if things, like, they aren't interested in it or whatever, they'll be like, oh, look at this, oh my gosh, hey, come over here, look at this, look at that. Like, the enthusiasm is incredibly palpable, but it's no surprise because Tumblr is literally the website full of nerds who are passionate about a lot of esoteric things.
Yeah, Dashcon is so supportive of the artists. I've had some really shitty experiences at past markets before. So this has been actually, I've never had a market that has lunch breaks before. So this is actually news to me and it's been so lovely. It's nice having a break, especially with the long hours. So I really appreciate the staff and the volunteers coming around.
Definitely the experience and the staff have made the event. Like, we got a lunch break. That was crazy. We got, like, everybody left for like an hour and we got to eat, which is awesome. Because normally I'm like, oh, how can I help you? You know? So that was great. And the staff have been beyond kind. The accessibility has been awesome. So usually I vend in a chair, right? So it's a different ballpark. But they've been great and they asked me to help out with some of the accessibility stuff. So that was awesome. And all the attendees are super hyped about everything, which I think is awesome. The Dashcon vibe, it just is great.
It's considered a smaller con, right? It's new, and the amount of people coming in isn't as much as some of the other cons I've seen. However, the sales and the sort of experiences have been about on par with some of the other cons that I've done with more people. So that's really, really neat. I think part of it is just because that people who come to Dashcon are generally a little bit more passionate about what they like, because Dashcon is it's such a microcosm for people.
Yes, one of the things that I find really unique about Dashcon is the energy and the passion here. I think like people are generally really like excited to be here, and they're very excited to just geek out about their like favorite niche like Tumblr memes and fandom. So yeah, I think like the energy and the passion is what sets Dashcon apart from the rest.
Honestly, like the vibe at Dashcon has been amazing compared to like most other conventions and events that I've been to. I really like the fact that, you know, it's Tumblr themed, very 2010s. It's very nostalgic. That's like the kind of fandom stuff I grew up with, and now it's like there's an entire convention based on that, and of course a spiritual successor from the OG infamous Dashcon.
I think it's definitely like the culture. It's a lot like it's a smaller con and it feels smaller and more like a community. Everyone is so like nice and chill and it's like down to just yap about whatever. And I also really like the accessibility. Like they really make accessibility a priority at this convention.
I think specifically the community at Dashcon is so awesome. Like I've been having so many nice conversations about like the weird niche unpopular fandoms that I have like merch of. And it's so nice to see because it's like usually at other events, like bigger ones, I don't see as many people with like weird niche interests that I get to talk to about.
I have to ask, given that we're at a Tumblr themed con, have you or do you still use Tumblr? If so, what was your very first Tumblr fandom?
Oh my gosh. Sanders Sides? Maybe Sanders Sides. Maybe Warrior Cats. Oh my god, I don't even remember. I haven't used it. I lived on Pinterest for years. I lived on Tumblr reposts from Pinterest and Instagram, and then I finally got Tumblr.
Oh my god. What was my first fandom on there? Probably My Little Pony. Like, either that or Dan Versus, because I was a fan of Dan Versus first, before My Little Pony came out on the same channel. I was there before it was cool.
I somehow missed Homestuck and Warrior Cats, but I was super into Voltron, and Mob Psycho, Undertale, duh. But my first ever fandom, does The Legend of Zelda count? I was like super into it when I was like in the 3rd grade because of the 25th anniversary edition for the DS. I was like, I need more of that green twink.
Probably Rise of the Brave Tangled Dragons. And I did see did you see the cosplayers?
Yeah.
There was Merida and Jack Frost, and yeah, it was great. Yeah, and that was such a weird fandom to be a part of, but it was great.
I do use Tumblr. My first fandom was Homestuck.
My very first Tumblr fandom, technically it was Markiplier. Back in 2017, I was deep in those trenches, man. Properly and seriously being on Tumblr, it was Doctor Who back in 2019.
Oh my god. Okay, I still am on Tumblr, but I don't post a lot anymore these days. It's mostly just I post art and then I disappear. I think my first Tumblr fandom was probably Haikyuu. Honestly, I was like lurking for like ages before that, but oh my god, no, it was Italia. It was Italia.
Well, I was in the creepypasta fandom and Black Butler, which I'm still in the Black Butler fandom, but you know.
My very first Tumblr fandom was Ladybug. I still very much do use Tumblr, but now it's more of an archive for my Apothecary Diaries blog, but I've been kind of busy, so it's been a while since I've updated it.
Okay, so this may not come as a surprise, but my very first fandom is Homestuck. When I was like 12 years old, I would look at the update tag on Tumblr after the newest update because Tumblr was where all the Homestuck fan art was.
In terms of my first fandom that I was in, Homestuck actually, but more specifically the Felt and the Midnight Crew intermission.
I think my first fandom on Tumblr was probably Percy Jackson.
And I think like my first fandom was probably like, gosh, I don't remember. Not gonna lie, it was probably Mystic Messenger. I'm gonna be honest.
What's currently your bestseller?
Ooh, I think I have a sticker, it's here somewhere, of Kyubey from Madoka Magica, and it just has a big impact font with an arrow at him. His ass is not following the Geneva Convention.
The thing that I was kind of surprised was selling really well were these Always Sunny sticker sheets, because I was like, is anybody gonna care about Always Sunny? I think that's probably been my best seller this year, which is crazy.
My best sellers so far have been my stickers, honestly. My sticker packs have been doing pretty well as well. And my Amazing Digital Circus keychains have been doing pretty good too. So love to hit that audience.
So a big bestseller of ours is Sans and Freddy Fazbear in a Loving Embrace. That's like, yeah.
My bestseller has been my sticker note notebook. I sold out of that, as well as my Rolsei keychain.
My current bestseller, surprisingly, was a Severance postcard, which I didn't expect to actually sell at all, considering that the show kind of died, but also it just began picking up again because production just started, guys. Production just fucking started. And I guess there's also my Fallout merch as well, which is also strange, but I'm really happy about that because it's my current hyperfixation, so it's like, okay, hell yeah.
My T-Cats are usually do pretty well, and they've done pretty well so far this time around. I think the Pokemon series still has to take the cake. They've always been sort of popular wherever I went. But a surprise seller has been my Summer Hikaru Died postcards. I actually sold out of the Yoshiki, and I only have one left of Hikaru.
My best seller so far has been my Black Butler stickers, actually. Yeah, a lot of my Black Butler stuff sells. They like the nostalgia.
Currently, my best seller is tied between my Madoka print, which I actually really do like, and it's probably one of my favorite prints, and my Tom Tor Toxic Yaoi sticker, which we're gonna act like isn't really there for the sake of the rest of my catalog because it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb.
My best seller is this Despite Everything ribbon, and I sold out of another ribbon. This I Am Cringe But Free ribbon.
Honestly, it had to be my Tenna prints. I have this one Tenna print, and both the large and the small sold out, so I'm completely out of those. My second best seller was actually my friend Carabiner.
I think that currently it's either I have a print of The Strange versus the Croaker, or like the little EFOs, EFO stickers.
I think my best seller so far, oddly enough, hasn't been fandom stuff, but like all originals, like my Risograph prints have done really well. And I was surprised because not many people usually go for like the OC stuff.
Is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything you'd like to plug, or any words of wisdom you'd like to offer to the internet?
Drink water. That has been so wonderful to have at the con here. Drink water, especially if you're at an event all day. You can follow me on my Tumblr. It's also cityyliights. If you see anything on like a catalog or anything anywhere that you want, I'm getting a site made, so you can just message in the meantime if you did. I can do orders. Have fun. Be a freak on main every so often, because then the other freaks will feel safe to be freaks on main, and then you can be friends together, and there is truly nothing like it. Do whatever you want forever.
Oh, yeah, man, I have a project. They are a little corner right there. Star and Moonboy, my favorite little guys. They have their own sticker sheets too. They have 2 music videos with QR codes there. Sorry to sound like a YouTuber plugging their stuff, but I love them. You will see them playing in that corner on my iPad because I'm so proud of the music videos that I made of them. Otherwise, I just want to thank the Dashcon staff and crew for making such an amazing, fulfilling experience for, honestly, I think all of us. They've been so kind and so generous and so willing to make sure we're all comfortable, especially, is it Martin, the person in the suit? Yes, oh my gosh, they're so nice. Like last year they were great, this year even greater. Didn't realize it was possible. But yeah, shout out to the Dashcon staff. They're like so awesome. I love them.
Yeah, so you can follow me anywhere on Instagram, not Tumblr, well, maybe Tumblr soon. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all Sharkmoth, probably with a double S at the beginning. I will be attending OCAD's Artist Alley on September 12th. If you'd like to stop by, I will have all my wares there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, words of wisdom. If you're thinking about getting into vending, do it. My first display looked like crap, and now we're here. But you know what? You start somewhere, and that's fine. And you don't have to have all the flashy booth everything to make it work. And I guess I will plug that I recently started a nonprofit called Access Cats, and the CATS stands for Convention Accessibility Tool Solutions. So I've been working with conventions, so far Hoyo Fest, YetiCon, and Dashcon too, to make their spaces more accessible. And I'm looking forward to keep doing that in the future with more cons. So yeah.
Everybody just be more of a clown, please.
We need more whimsy in this world.
More whimsy.
Follow my Tumblr. It's Mints with a 1 instead of an I. You'll probably see it. It's mostly a bunch of BBC Ghost stuff and yaoi. Go ahead, follow it. That's it.
Well, this time was my first time doing live commissions for sketch comms for like $20. I get to draw and then take breaks to chat, and it's been a really nice experience. So that's something special for me this time.
So, my words of wisdom would be to really do what you like. I've realized that for the amount of time that I've been like tabling, if you just do things that you like, a lot of people will feed off that energy and see that you're really passionate about it, and it'll show in your art and they'll like gravitate towards you. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at KiwiEarl.
I go by Suexine on all platforms, including Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. I also technically have an AO3. You can go read the fanfics on there, but they're really old.
Go to Dashcon next year. It's very fun and you won't regret it.
One last thing before I go. Not a lot of people talk about it, but I'm always happy to talk about it. Being Armenian myself, it's always just nice to like represent myself, like kind of get my name out there as like not just like an artist, but also being Armenian. It might not be so obvious with like the name that I use online, but I'm always happy to say that, like, you know, I'm proud to be Armenian. I'm proud to be doing the things that I do. And hopefully, you know, if there's any other Armenian artists out there that just want a little push into doing, you know, Artist Alley convention stuff, go for it. I'd love to see you at a convention like in Toronto or elsewhere in Ontario. And feel free to say hi or even a parev.
Come to Dashcon. It's really fun.
I just say, Dashcon, I love you. Like, one of like the most fun events I've been part of, and like being part of the Discord server and like getting to talk about Dashcon with like everybody else and like all the other artists and getting to know everyone for the past like month and a bit, like leading up to the event, has been so fun. I've been like so hyped about this event. Don't ask me how long I stayed up before this. Dashcon, I love you.
And last but not least, here is the interview with Martin, who is one of the organizers and is in charge of most, if not all, of the promotional art for the event, and is also the coordinator for Artist Alley. Since his role is different from a tabling artist, I had a few different questions for him. First off, would you like to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your work?
So, hi, my name is Martin. I'm the creative director of Dashcon 2. A lot of what I'm doing at the convention itself today is making sure that all the artists are well taken care of, the dealer's hall is put together, but outside of convention day, I do all of the merchandise, the logos, the branding. I assist with social media as much as I loathe Instagram. I've been on Tumblr since the early days. Since probably like 2015, 2016. So right around when Dashcon happened, or like the year after. I've been very invested in like fandom and cringe culture and all that fun stuff.
What made you want to help organize the event?
Originally, I was actually reluctant because it was like, I got a call from Avis and Simone the night when Simone had her moment of hubris saying, I think I could fix her. And I thought it'd be fun, but I didn't know that it was going to become the project that it was. We initially thought that it would be like a couple of people, maybe 40, coming into a space, and the fact that we have had 1,600 people invested, even just seeing the reactions online from when we started, gave me a lot of inspiration and hope and motivation to actually put a lot of effort and time into this. It has immeasurably changed how I approach my artistic practice.
What does Dashcon mean to you?
What doesn't it? I know, like, that's such a cheesy answer. But brother, I'm born on the cob. But no, genuinely, I owe a lot to Dashcon. For me, it is probably one of my most professional artistic practices. And it gives me such a good way to like see what else is going on in the Toronto art scene, to interact with all the vendors and artists. For me, I think Dashcon is a collection of people that are incredibly passionate, putting themselves out there, and I want to meet them where they're at.
I have to ask, given that we're at a Tumblr-themed con, have you or do you still use Tumblr? If so, what was your very first Tumblr fandom?
I think it was Phoenix Wright. If you can't tell from the everything about me, it was that or Overwatch with what the ship is now known as Yeehawn. But at the time, I think it was Mikonzo. just because I think the name change of one of the characters. I am a big investor in Old Man Yowie. Never let them stop you.
What are your hopes and dreams for the future of Dashcon 2?
We want to keep this going. I am absolutely in love with everything that it has been, what it stands for, even with behind the scenes, a couple of hiccups here and there. That stress is minute in comparison to the amount of joy that I get to see the artists have, the attendees have, the experiences that I even hear from the dealer's hall from Shokokai, where people are cheering and singing shanties. It's incredible. So I think my biggest goals is making sure that we are able to keep this going.
Is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything you'd like to plug, or any words of wisdom you'd like to offer to the internet?
I wasn't joking when I said never let them stop you, okay? If you have a very stupid idea or something that you think is cringe or weird, part of why Dashcon is so important to me is I do have an anxiety disorder. I am constantly ready for everything to blow up, and you know what? A couple times it has. But the joke with Dashcon is the fact that it originally was a failed convention. So if it goes great, that's amazing. If it goes poorly, even better. Let yourself have the space to mess up. Also, go on Tumblr, check out Alterity and Mayhem. It's a Homestuck TTRPG with a bunch of artists. They're all really cool.
I want to extend the biggest thank you to all the artists who were down to be part of this, and I loved being able to hear so many similar and unique experiences, both fandom-wise, but also the innate desire for more events like Dashcon 2 that cares so much about us and our integrity. If you're a tabling artist watching this, or someone who wants to table someday, you've probably seen, heard, or experienced rising table costs, events not doing so much to combat AI-generated vendors, or just the poor treatment that we artists tend to get at some of these events. I really hope this inspires more people to want to organize their own events and provide opportunities to artists that might sorely need it right now, because that's essentially part of how Dashcon 2 came to be in the first place. As always, please show some love to the artists I've interviewed, and you know what? Since I'm a big advocate for artists and love to plug anyone whenever I can, here is the full list of artists that were tabling at Dashcon 2. The rest of the vlog is just going to summarize day 2, additional thoughts I have about the event, and some final thoughts.
I feel like while I have time as well, since it's a little quiet right now, it's time to talk about something interesting that my friend mentioned while we were eating lunch. She also tabled at Dashcon like me last year as well, and she was talking about how she feels like this year feels a little bit different. Basically, she was saying how last year kind of felt like almost special in a way, but I think because we were catching on that Dashcon 2 is actually pretty good and it's actually worth going to, I think that ended up kind of taking away some of the mystique and charm of how it was last year, which is kind of understandable. As things grow from something that became niche, it's inevitably going to lose some of its original, I guess, it's going to lose some of its original unique appeal because it was so new.
Day 2 was admittedly a lot slower than day 1 for me, but I don't think the rain dampened the vibe of the event at all, since there was lots of cheering going on throughout the day, and it made it easier to conduct my artist interviews. And that concludes year 2 of Dashcon 2. There were some changes, but definitely many improvements to the event, so I think it's safe to say that Dashcon 2 is here to stay, hopefully. It was still as silly, nerdy, and chaotic as one would expect from a Tumblr-themed convention. I think my only gripe is that tables that were lined up against the wall should be pushed a little bit further forward because I felt like such a nuisance trying to maneuver behind some other artists to get out of my section. But on the plus side, as mentioned by some of the artists, one of the biggest positive changes were the lunch breaks. How it worked was that the artist alley was closed for an hour or two while the vendors could get a break to eat or explore the rest of the con, which made for some fun picnic times outside on the grass or inside the hall when it was raining on the second day. It felt like I was back in school and it was recess or something. Obviously, this would be so much harder to coordinate for conventions with thousands of attendees, since Artist Alley often takes place in halls where other things are happening, so you can't exactly just close off just a section of it. But it is so nice not having to worry about taking a bite full of food the moment someone comes up to your table. One of the biggest differences from Dashcon this year was that there wasn't a bouncy duel arena thing like last year, so there wasn't a rematch between Strange Aeons and Muppet Joker or anything, but rather there was a fake guillotine, which, is that a new Tumblr joke I missed out on? Someone please enlighten me, but it made for some pretty funny photo ops. And the ball pit needs no introduction. I was a little embarrassed though because one of the volunteer leads is a fan of my art and recognized me at sign-in. So when I strolled up before opening hours to get a photo with the ball pit, they were clearly in the middle of a volunteer meeting, but they saw me and were like, "Oh my god, everyone please say hello to carefreejules," like I was a new kid in class. Did you go to Dashcon too? Was it everything you expected it to be? And if you went last year, was there anything that stood out to you from last year? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you for my Anime-thon vlog. Bye!